So, hello everyone. I am Christopher Lockett, and I'm going to walk you through a simple campaign that I set up for my company. This campaign is designed to just pretty much welcome individuals to the company. So, once I get a person that either fill out the web contact form or I bring them onto my company app into my contacts, but the contact form is submitted, that individual automatically move into my email confirmation request. Again, this is just that courtesy of being able to just go in and just confirm that they wish to receive emails from us. As you can see here, once I send that, then I got this wait at least 3 days. And then what I'm going to add here, and I just noticed that's missing, is a follow-up email if no action is taken, right? So once they bypass or once they complete the email confirmation request, that is checked that they confirm the email, then they move into my onboarding process. Again, within the onboarding process, as soon as they get into there, they're going to be tagged. Here, I do have a tag sequence there, and that tag is going to label them as a new lead nurture, which is just letting me know that this is somebody that we're still trying to finagle into the system. Then they're going to be assigned to the owner because I'm a solo entrepreneur. That would be me, myself. And then I also have a 3-day notification on here that say, hey, give them a call, that create a task. As you see the checkbox, this is just going to create a task telling me to make sure I call and follow up with them. That's just something I like to do as a business rule for my organization. Again, this sequence is used for the initial contact or interaction with a potential client. And then the clients, once they provide that information, they're routed through this system. So once that tag is applied and they are put into the come out of there, once the tag is applied that they are a new client nurtured, then they start to go through this simultaneously. They're going to go through this process of the intake stage. So once they enter into the intake stage, they do have an email that will go out, which they will be able to pick the service that they wish to partake in. Once that go out and they select that service, again, I do have my 3-day follow-up just in case no action is taken. But once they pick the service, they can either pick to be a coaching client, a small business consulting client, or a new entrepreneur. This intake form that they complete, it drives them into one of these sequences or to one of these areas. And then once they do select the choice that they wish to do, let's say for this client, they choose to go into coaching, then they're going to go into my coaching sequence, which again, the nurture tag will be removed. And then they're going to be an order created. Again, waiting 3 days later, no action. Then they're going to, of course, get that invoice reminder. But once they go in and say they do make the payment, then they actually going to be tagged as a new client and also newsletter tag, which is going to give them my monthly newsletter, which is actually the next sequence I'm going to go over. But once they make that decision that, hey, okay, they have already went through selected and they get the pay, and then they will be tagged as a new client in a newsletter. And that sequence runs for each one of these. Again, you decide that you want some small business consulting. You're going to go through this small business sequencing where you're going to get a tag. The order is going to go to you, which is going to prompt that invoice. Everything with my company, these are already set prices, so it's nothing new that I have to generate. These are preconditioned retainer fees that's required in order to book it. I bring that up because when you go here, another benefit of this is when they go through this intake sequence right here, within this email, there's a link in there that's embedded. They're able to go ahead and book their appointment. Now, they are reminded that when they book that appointment, it is not complete until they have paid the fees associated with it. And that is required 24 hours prior to the actual meeting taking place. And that is just the sequence that they go through when they are when we are welcoming new clients onto our company. The other sequence that I wanted to share with you, or the other campaign that I wanted to share with you, is my monthly newsletter. This is another phenomenal feature that saved me so much time because prior to using this, I would go in each month and have to draft up my newsletter and then find the right people, send it to the right people. Well, now, because all of my newsletter recipients, they are tagged with this newsletter, and I have a newsletter list category. A newsletter category with newsletter list. So once that tag is applied to them, then they begin to go through the various newsletter sequences. In this case, right now we're operating in May. So they're going here, and this is set to run between May 1st and May 31st. This email is the actual newsletter link. It's just saying, hey, your newsletter is here. Click the link below for this month's newsletter. I don't change that. My newsletter template does not change. The content changes, but the template rarely changes. So this is a very simple time saver for me. So send the newsletter, and then once that newsletter go out, then of course we're gonna a task is created for me to update June newsletter. Again, I do this simply for me as a reminder to me to go in, update I upload my June newsletter to my cloud space, and I update the link in this email. And then also here you're going to see they're going to be tagged with the June newsletter tag. Because they are tagged with that tag, then they will move into once that June newsletter is tagged, then they move into my June newsletter sequence. And again, the goal, or once the completion for this, is once the task is marked completed. Not so much as them receiving the newsletter, but me saying, or me going in and completing the task, that let them know that June is ready to go. And then you go into the June sequence. And then again, the June sequence is exactly how you saw the May sequence. You go through it. Only difference is, of course, I am going to remove the June tag, and then I'm going to apply the July tags. That way, this particular client, they're going to move into the July sequence, and then I'll also be notified to complete the task of updating the July newsletter. Again, this is just a way to simplify my life. It saves me so much time. And for me in particular, I do build out my newsletter 3 months in advance. So again, you see May, June, July. And then later you'll see that I have August, September, October. I do everything on quarterly basis. What my consulting firm do is actually work with companies to put them on quarterly based systems to generate revenue, and also to simplify their systems and processes within their business structure. So, hey, that's my time. That's all that I have. I hope that it helped, and see you on the flip side.